You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, guys? I'm going live from the airport. My flight got delayed, so I'm out here just waiting. I got like another hour or more to go till I start boarding. So I thought, why don't I just talk about 49ers training camp and pretty much summarize everything that I saw while I was there. Sorry if you guys hear children in the background, if you hear anything else. There's music going on, by the way. Is it too loud? Let me know if it's too loud. What's going on, Mariah? Thanks for checking back in. Yeah, is the music too loud? I know the kid's loud, but yeah, seriously, tell them to stop. Parents need to get their stuff together, man. Okay, I'm assuming the music is not too bad, though, so I'm gonna, all right, cool. Thank you, Mariah. So I'm gonna keep it rocking here. All right, first let's talk about the offense. I wanted to start talking about the wide receivers. Let's start with Brandon Nyuk, because he's been one of the players of the entire training camp. He's just been amazing. The chemistry that he has with Trey Lance has been evident in pretty much every practice. And off-season work between those two is definitely paying off. And I have a bold prediction. I think, and you know, don't kill me for this. It's a bold prediction. That's why we call it bold, and that's why we call it a prediction. But I think we might see a chemistry that may rival what Aaron Rodgers had with Davante Adams. I'm speaking strictly. Oh boy, hold on. We got an announcement going on. It's very loud. Muting myself. Okay. But I think between Trey Lance and Nyuk, I think we will see a chemistry that is going to rival what Aaron Rodgers had with Davante Adams. And I'm only speaking strictly about the chemistry, nothing else. But you know what? Davante Adams is who Brandon Nyuk models his game after, actually. It's a very – so, I don't know. Maybe that's it's a bold prediction, but one that I think, you know, this year, next year, we're going to see blossom into that Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams type of chemistry that those two have. It's like an unspoken language that they have. Oh my God, they need to stop the announcements. Number 23. They're so rude right now. Like, what's up with all the announcements? Like, what do they think this is, an airport? All right. Anyway, yeah, I think Brandon Nyuk and Trey Lance are going to have a phenomenal year. And I think we'll just continue to see that chemistry grow as the two continue to play together. And I really do feel that what we've seen in camp between those two is going to translate into the regular season. Nyuk has been finding ways to get open, even when, you know, Charvarius Ward was covering him. And Ward has been awesome, and I'll talk about him in a bit. But, like, even then, he's been finding ways to get open. And even when he isn't open, Lance throws it up high where only he knows Nyuk can get it. Wow. The announcements are just ridiculous right now. Like, it was not this bad last time in Colorado Airport, Denver. But anyway, yeah, so I love the fact that, like, Lance just kind of throws it up for Nyuk, and Nyuk can high point it. He has a crazy catch radius, and it seems like Trey Lance is very much aware of that and uses that to his advantage, even when it seems like Brandon Ayuk is covered. Devo Samuel. I mean, Devo Samuel, obviously, we're all very excited that he got his extension. And, I'm not mad at him for holding in and for not participating in training camp before he got his extension because, you don't want to risk any injury. That's a business decision on his part. I can't fault him for that. But, at the same time, we are seeing that the lack of chemistry between Devo Samuel and Trey Lance is really it's really shown itself in these few practices that Devo and Lance have had together. And so, but I'm still not worried. It seems like it's mostly timing in the fact that I don't think Lance really has the timing down with Devo quite yet, where he knows exactly where he's going to be when he's tracking the ball down the field. Devo works at a different speed than Ayuk. Every guy has a different speed, and I think Trey Lance maybe just isn't used to Devo's speed quite yet. So they've been trying to connect, and they have. I don't want to make it seem like they haven't connected at all, but that's going to come with time. But I really think it's going to be the Brandon Ayuk Trey Lance show this year. Completely wide receiver one numbers from Brandon Ayuk is what I would predict. All right, let's talk about the running backs really quick and how they've been performing. So you guys may recall these kids are finally about to leave. Oh, wow, she's yelling at her parents. This is all bad right now. Oh, my God. Wow. Okay. So the running backs. So the first week was really slow for the running backs. You almost kind of forgot they were even there, which was honestly a little surprising because when it's not pads, that is that's an advantage for the running backs. But they were quiet that first week, and then the pads came on, and shortly after the pads came on, the practice after that, they really started coming together and looking good, especially Trey Sermon. I wasn't at training camp last year, but I just recall what people were saying about Trey Sermon last year and that how terrible he looked. And I can probably say rather safely that, I feel like Trey Sermon has done a complete 180 from how he looked in training camp last season. And I do feel like he's going to be involved along with Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson Jr. He's going to be part of the regular rotation with this running backs group. The way that I would rank these guys right now is Elijah Mitchell, unquestioned RB1. Oh, boy. 1 second. They keep they're changing the gate numbers. What are they running over here, man? They're delaying flights. They're changing gates. It's all bad at the airport. Anyway, the running backs, the way I see the pecking order, it's Elijah Mitchell, unquestioned RB1. Jeff Wilson Jr. second, who has looked good in camp too. They've pretty much all looked good in camp at certain points. And then I'd put Sermon third, and then Hasty, and then Jordan Mason. And the only reason I put Hasty at 4 is because he's been with the team. He has more experience. And I've mentioned that's really the only edge right now that Hasty has over Jordan Mason, because from a performance perspective, Jordan Mason has had the edge on Jermichael Hasty. But they're different backs, and at the same time, Kyle Shanahan loves having, a bunch of running backs. So I think either Hasty or Jordan Mason is going to be on the practice squad. I think Jermichael Hasty could still go on the practice squad. I think it's like his third year. So what's going on, Chris? How's it going? So the kids that were yelling have finally left. And so now we just need them to stop with the announcements every 5 seconds, and we're good. That running back group is stacked, Mariah says. Yes, it is. And this is the way we like it. We don't want another situation like last year where it was pretty much just Elijah Mitchell and Devo Samuel carrying the load in the backfield. We want to have as many guys as possible, capable guys and guys that, can stay healthy. Oh my God. You know what? I completely forgot about TDP. I'm so sorry. TDP. Sorry. So I said Mitchell, Jefferson Jr., Sermon, and I put TDP somewhere after Sermon because, he just got drafted. Just based on where they drafted him, I think I'd put him ahead on the depth chart. Well, I've seen the unofficial depth chart, but I'm just speaking from what I've seen in training camp. And then after that, I'd go Hasty, Jordan Mason. So, yeah, they are absolutely stacked. I mean, they got 6 guys, so maybe Hasty and Jordan Mason end up on the practice squad. That's entirely possible. Mariah says maybe we trade a running back. Steelers might need some. Trading a running back is definitely a possibility. I mean, if you're not going to be able to keep a guy around and you can get something in return, then that's always it's not a bad option for sure. Chris asks, are you going to the LA game again? No, I am not. SoFi Stadium is awesome, though, and it was a great environment to be in for that game. But I had my heart broken the last time I was there, so I'm at the airport for both of you that joined, so hopefully it's not too loud. I swear, I think someone's watching me on the camera and they're like, oh, she's streaming. Turn on this announcement. Because they've been doing announcements like every 5 seconds. It's ridiculous. Yeah, no, I'm not going to the LA game. I'm trying to get to the game against the Broncos out there in Denver, since that's where I live now. And then I'll be at the home opener. So, yeah, if you guys go to any of those, I'll see you out there. Bay Area Baller says there's going to be a good running back that doesn't make this team. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can argue that all of the 6 running backs that they have are good, and there's no way they're keeping 6 running backs. So I think they keep 4 or 5, and so either both Hasty and Mason, make practice squad if they even clear waivers. If they don't light it up too much in preseason. So I'm kind of hoping, I feel like I've seen enough out of Jordan Mason. And if he doesn't come out of preseason and look too good, then I think they'll be able to stash him on the practice squad. Let's talk about the offensive line. So we came into training camp, and the biggest question marks for everyone was, what's going to happen at right guard and what's going to happen at center. Well, we got the answer at right guard with Spencer Burford, who he took all the snaps at right guard the entirety of training camp, and so there was no competition to begin with at right guard. And quite frankly, I mean, it seems like Burford he's a rookie, so while he's good, I mean, he's going to have some, ups and downs as well, just like we've been saying with Trey Lance, right? I mean, when a guy is inexperienced, you're just going to have to live with those. The good thing is, he has McGlinchey to his side, so hopefully that will help him. And then the other question mark, as I mentioned, is center. I mean, and that, honestly, even after these 2 weeks of training camp, is still a question mark, I would say. The team has rotated both Daniel Brunskill and Jake Brendel pretty evenly all throughout camp. And so it's been really hard to predict who's the favorite there. Sorry, there's an announcement again. All right. Yeah, and they keep saying the same thing on these announcements. Like, okay, we got it. But yeah, offensive line, the center position, still a question mark. We should learn more during these preseason games, and I think, who is a starting center in the first preseason game with Trey Lance will tell us a lot. And I'm kind of thinking these last couple practices may have steered the competition a little more towards Brundle, but again, I don't know. It's been back and forth. So, yeah, Barry Baller, you ask, who do you prefer from what you've seen at center? And I'll be honest, I don't always watch like the trenches because honestly, it's really hard to get a good look at them sometimes, especially during 11 on 11s, especially when they're on the opposite side of the field. But I've been fortunate enough to, watch these training camps next to Brad of the SF Niners, who is offensive line guru. And so he has rooted for Brunskill, but at the same time, he's mentioned the fact that Brunskill hasn't had these last few practices have not been good for him. He's not had the greatest camp. So that being said, I feel like that kind of makes Brendel the better option overall. And and we've been saying this for quite some time, as soon as they pick one guy and commit to one guy at center and he gets all of the reps, it's going to help over time. That guy is going to get used to getting more. Can you guys hear me over the announcements, or I got to mute myself again? No, because I'm really convinced someone's like pressing the announcements on purpose. But anyway, yeah, like once they commit to one guy, like um, he's going to get into a groove, because a lot of offensive line play, I feel like it's just about cohesion and gelling together as an entire unit. So how can we really expect the center to do that when they're getting rotated every practice? So I don't know. I think once they decide on the guy, it'll start looking better from there. So while it might not look great right away, I think over time we'll see that improve and steady. So don't get too nervous when the offensive line, in particular, the center position, is not perfect in week one, right? All right, thanks, Mariah, for confirming. Yeah, appreciate it. All right, so let's look at what's up next. So gone through. Oh, okay. What I went through some of the wide receivers. Let me circle back to some of the other ones. So Raymond Cloud, I actually like the Raymond Cloud signing. Um, he just seems like a good underrated veteran free agent signing who is solid, and I think honestly I think he'll take away some snaps from Jawan Jennings a little bit. And that's not to say that Jennings has been bad, although he does tend to drop the ball in practice quite a lot, that I've noticed. And that's why, like I've also said, like some days I was like, he didn't have the greatest practice. But Raymond Cloud I like, and also his contributions to special teams should go a long way as well. And Danny Gray, he's shown potential. I mean, obviously, he's a deep ball threat guy, and right now I don't see him as any more than that right now, because usually when those guys are just like pure speedsters, it's mostly because they have a lot more to their game that they need to work on. And I feel like Danny Gray is kind of in that space. But, I mean, you can still use Danny Gray in situational, times where you want to push the ball downfield. You want to take the top off the defense. Danny Gray would be that guy for you. And, Willie Snead joined late. I don't know if he's going to make the roster. Then there's Marcus Johnson. I don't know if he'll make the roster. I'm not really sure how many wide receivers they're going to end up keeping. I know Malik Turner, he has that veteran presence that I think the 49ers would also like to keep around. So I totally see it possible that they keep 6 wide receivers. So obviously Ayuk, Samuel, McLeod, Jennings, Danny Gray, and Malik Turner would probably be the main guys that I'd look at. Do need to prep a backup though. So are you talking about center or another position? Not sure. All right, so that's really all on the offensive line. Another thing I'll say, I like Jason Poe. I'm a fan of Jason Poe. I don't know if he'll end up making the roster, but he should certainly get a shot at, sticking around on the practice squad, and I'd love to see what he can do with a little more time, developing his skill set. Sorry for the noise in the background. I do have to kind of loosen though, I think. Let me check that my flight hasn't gotten delayed again. A second. No, we're still good. So I'll probably be boarding in 10 minutes. So I'm gonna leave pretty soon. But really quickly, if there's a position that you guys wanted to hear about, let me know. And I'll go over it really quickly. Yeah, Mariah says it feels like Ray fits well with this team, his style of play, attitude, vibe, and everything. Yeah, I completely agree. He's kind of like a Mohamed Sanu kind of veteran presence, but also I think he has what this team has been missing at slot receiver, someone who's a little shiftier than Jauan Jennings. Jauan Jennings has been great. I don't want to make it seem like I'm knocking him at all. I've been Jauan Jennings hive, but, I think Ray brings something different that the 49ers would for sure welcome. So, definitely like that. All right, really quickly, I'll go over the defense as a whole before I head out of here. So, Drake Jackson, I think we should feel pretty good about. He is, for a rookie, he seems to have all the tools to be successful, and it's really about putting it all together into a package. So I think he'll get some good run in his first year, even as a rookie. This defensive line tends to rotate quite often, and so they're so deep that I think we may even see them rotate more than we had in the past. So, looking forward to seeing what Drake Jackson can do. He has incredible bend. His bend is insane, crazy athleticism. Really excited to see what he does. Kimoko Toure, as I mentioned earlier today, he had a really good day, and he seems to be someone who has improved throughout every practice and has made his presence felt. Really, Samson Ebukam, I think, is another guy who, with having a full off season with this defense, I think is going to go a long way for Samson Ebukam. He was coming along late last season, and so I think this off season is really going to help him, further his game in this system. So I think we'll see a good year out of Ebukam as well. Javon Kinlaw is humongous, and that man is ready to go. I think, again, I wasn't here in last training camp, but he just looks so almost relaxed in these training camp practices, and not in a bad way. He just looks comfortable. And, he seems like a guy that's comfortable and confident in himself, that he doesn't need to take it too seriously. And I don't mean for that to come off in a bad way, but I think, he's so talented that he can just kind of let go and let his game speak for itself. And I'm really excited to see what he could do this year. Hopefully he can stay healthy, because of course that's been the biggest question mark with Javon Kinlaw, and what has really held him back and kept him from reaching his like full potential and recognition. Um, so I'm really excited for him. Armstead is, you know, he's been amazing ever since he moved to the inside. And honestly, he was good even before that, but him moving to the inside completely changed the face of this defense and what they were able to do. And so I'm excited that they're going to keep him there, because I think, we saw that that's where he is able to be the most effective and also help his teammates out in the process. Um, Nick Bosa, I don't even need to say anything about him. I mean, he's incredible. Um, and if it was even possible, he's going to take his game to another level this year, I think. And speaking of some of these other guys that have flashed throughout training camp, Kevin Gibbons is a guy who, um, you know, always has some good plays when given the opportunity. Charles Omenihu as well. Hassan Ridgeway, who was hurt, was kind of unfortunate, because he was someone who was flashing, in those early days of camp. So, kind of a shame he won't be able to, show us what he has, at least not right now. Kevin Atkins, another guy, and Jordan Willis had a good day today as well. Like, these guys are just stacked. I can say good things about all of these guys. It's really quite incredible. I have no worries about the defensive line. Um, the same thing with the linebackers. Like, the one guy that I do like a lot, who is newer, because you guys know about the Fred Warners and now Shires and the Greenlaws. Like, they're good. Even Flanagan Fowles is solid. But Marcelino McCrary-Ball, who was one of the, I believe was he undrafted? I think he was undrafted. I think he was undrafted, right? Yeah. So yep, he was. Yeah, I have really liked McCrary Ball, actually, in what I've seen from him, and he has shown some flashes. And we know how this team is able to develop linebackers, and I think McCrary Ball is going to be one of those guys who eventually is going to, he'll probably be on the practice squad this year, but when, next man up, given that opportunity, I think McCrary Ball is going to be one of those guys that we'll look back on, that has a similar trajectory as, Aziz and some of these other guys, who have, become successful. Same with Flanagan Fowles. I mean, I'm not going to say much about Charvarius Ward and Emmanuel Mosley, because those both have been great throughout all of this. I will mention, Ambry Thomas could use some work. That he's not in danger of getting cut, I don't think. Again, it's only his second year, so they're going to give him some time. Diamador Lenore has looked good. Kadar Holman, they seem to have a lot of trust in him. Drew Castro Fields continues to get more playing time. And Dante Johnson is not going anywhere. I think he brings that veteran presence, and he's someone that they like. Samuel Womack has been someone who has, kind of shined and shown some flashes of what he can do at nickel corner. So while I think Darquez Denard is going to be the starter, and they certainly like Denard, I think Samuel Womack has a path forward to, being someone important, and maybe eventually being the starting corner. If not this year, maybe next year, the one after that. Leon O'Neal, I mean, he got cut. He wasn't doing so all that well even before he got hurt. So that explains that. I don't know what that is, man. Hufanga has looked, tremendous all throughout camp. And oh my God, so much going on. Eric, you should have said what's up, man. Yeah, I was at camp. Yeah, next time you see me, come say hi. I'm always down to meet you guys. It's always a pleasure. Um, all right, what's going on, Melissa? I haven't seen you in a while, Melissa. Where you been? All right, I'm about to go, but just wanted to go through the safeties really quick. I mean, Hufanga has looked really good. It seems to me like he's kicked his game up a notch, and I'm really excited to see what he does this season. I think he's been preparing himself for this larger role, and he looks ready. Tarvarius Moore has also been good. So if the 49ers do decide to use Ward, Hufanga, and Moore, um, either interchangeably between Hufanga and Moore, or if they find a way to get all three of those guys on the field at the same time, I think that's a great option for them. Because I think Moore has done a great job and is deserving of some playing time as well. All right, if you guys don't have any questions about specific players, I am going to go to my gate now, and I'll have more recaps, as we go here, and because we're getting close to this game on Friday, I'll have, of course, a recap of the game on Friday. We'll talk about that probably Friday night or on Saturday. So we'll see. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys for checking this out. And yeah, I hope I have a safe flight as well. Hopefully there's no turbulence. And I'll catch you guys later. Pete. Oh, wait. Melissa, quick Spencer Burford starting thoughts. I think the fact that he's starting, obviously the team likes him and they trust him. And he isn't going to be perfect right away because he is a rookie after all. Same thing with Trey Lance. But I do think that it's okay to be patient with someone like him. He might have his up and downs too, but he's gonna learn on the fly and get better. He definitely seems like the kind of guy who is capable of, learning on the fly. And based on his media availability, it sounded like he had a really high football IQ. So that's something that will be able to hopefully get him to learn quickly and learn from his mistakes rather quickly as well. So I'm not mad at it. And like I mentioned earlier, like he's going to have Mike McGlinchey next to him, and that should help. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you guys and have a good rest of your night. Peace.